Yes. So, good evening to all of you. I welcome you on the occasion of Engineers Day. It is a great pleasure, and on behalf of IMP, Indian Association of Energy Management Professionals, and the organizing committee of Team Mission Sustainable India, I welcome you all on board, and I congratulate to all of you on the occasion of Engineers Day. Today we'll discuss on what is Mission Sustainable India, and we'll also showcase a video on Dr. Sir MV. And without any delay, then we'll discuss some brief on Mission Sustainable India, what is Mission Sustainable India and how it is important. After that, we'll have a panel discussions. We have Sri Anil Chaudhary, CGM, Head Operation ESL, Government of India, Ministry of Power. He is also the President of IMP. We have Sri Sunil Sood with us. He is a past President of IMP.
Good evening.
And also the National Convener of Mission Sustainable India. We have Arvind Rastogi Saab, who is a certified energy auditor and life member of IMP. We have Pradesh Sarmaki from Mission Sustainable India team. I hopeful that we'll discuss on the insight of MSI and its relationship with engineers. Everybody will like it. Now, without any further delay, I am just sharing a very beautiful, very old video. I hope we all will like it. Let us start the video.
The lush evergreen forest across the Western Ghats in the Shimoga district of Mysore state is famous for its enchanting beauty that has inspired many an artist, many a poet. Here, the river Sharavati plunges down the mountainside with a dizzy rapture, unfolding a glorious picture. It is said, once here came a man who, on beholding this majestic scene, exclaimed, "What a waste!" An odd comment indeed, but the man who made it was no eccentric. This man was contemplating the invisible power hidden in these mighty torrents. He saw in the falls visions of a myriad canals emerging from the reservoir, visions of hydroelectric power which could turn the giant wheels of industry. This man was an engineer. He was a great engineer. He was Dr. Vishveshwaraya. Nestling at the foot of the Nandi Hills in the Chikbalapu Taluk of Mysore state is a little village, Mudenahari. Here, 100 years ago, in 1861, Mokshakundam Vishveshwaraya was born. Vishveshwaraya came of a poor family. His mother had to struggle hard to get him educated. It was she who brought him to nearby Chikbalapur for his schooling. From Chikbalapur, young Vishveshwaraya migrated to Bangalore for his high school and college education. At Central College, Principal Waters was proud of this brilliant student. A merit scholarship enabled Vishveshwaraya to further his studies at Pune. He came to the College of Engineering, known in those days as the College of Science. Here, under the guidance and care of Principal Theodore Cook, he excelled in his studies and graduated with top honors at the young age of 23. Vishveshwaraya got the coveted job that was guaranteed every year to the candidate who topped the list of engineering graduates of the Bombay University. In March 1884, he started his engineering career in the hoarding city of Nasik on the banks of the river Godavari. Starting as an assistant engineer at Nasik, he rose to the rank of sanitary engineer to the government of Bombay. Many and distinguished were the services he rendered during this period. One of his lasting contributions to the state was the block system of irrigation, which he developed in the Neera Canal area of the Pune district. The object of the system was to distribute the benefits of irrigation over a large number of villages. His passion for statistics and for the intelligent use of these facts and figures were evident in the way he worked out the scheme. One of his engineering achievements was connected with the lake Fife at Kadakwasla. The storage of this lake was insufficient to meet the needs of the Mudha Canal, which supplied water to Pune. The reservoir overflowed every year above the surplus weir. The problem was to increase the storage capacity without raising the dam. Vishveshwaraya had the answer. He devised a system of automatic gates which did the trick. These gates have stood the test of time and have been copied in other places too. He took out a patent for the gates, but he refused to ask for or accept any royalty from the government. He always believed in work properly blended with recreation. The result was the Deccan Club, which flourishes to this day. In this good work, he had the blessings and cooperation of such eminent personalities as Mahadev Govind Ranade and Gopal Krishna Gokhale. The year 1909 brought Vishveshwaraya to Hyderabad. The Nizam government secured his services for an important assignment. On the 28th of September 1908, the river Musi, which passes through the city of Hyderabad, was in floods and ravaged the city. In one area alone, known as Kosawadi, more than 2,000 people were drowned or washed away. Hundreds of buildings were swept away. The state government wanted Vishveshwaraya to examine the damage done and to suggest measures to prevent a recurrence of such a catastrophe. After making a survey, he recommended the construction of 2 reservoir dams above the city, one across the river Musi and the other across its tributary, the Isi. Vishveshwaraya will be remembered with gratitude by the people of Hyderabad as long as Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar reservoirs are remembered. Vishveshwaraya also prepared a scheme for a modern system of drainage for Hyderabad city. It's a tribute to his foresight that the drainage disposal machinery which he got installed meets the needs of the city even today, when its population has increased threefold. Vishveshwaraya also drew up plans for the improvement of the capital city of Hyderabad. His prophecy that when the improvements were carried out, Hyderabad would be able to hold her head high among her sister cities in India has come true today. In the same year 1909, he received a call from the land of his birth, Mysore. The Maharaja of Mysore offered Vishveshwaraya the job of chief engineer of the state. One of his greatest achievements as chief engineer was the planning and construction of Krishnaraj Sagar Dam across the river Kaveri. Completed in the year 1912, it was the largest reservoir ever built in India up to that time. If one can only place oneself in that epoch, one can judge what a colossal achievement it was in the context of the times. The estimated cost of the project was over 23 million rupees. Such a large amount the state had never spent before on any single project. Referring to this multi-purpose dam, Gandhiji once said, Krishnaraj Sagar alone, one of the largest of its kind in the world, would perpetuate the name of Sir Vishveshwaraya. The main irrigation canal named after Vishveshwaraya passes through a varied landscape, passing through an artificial tunnel nearly 2 miles long, an engineering feat for that time. The canal has brought prosperity to land which was once barren. It has led to the extensive cultivation of sugarcane, which has made possible a flourishing sugar industry in the state. The sugar factory in Mandya is one of the largest of that class of factories in India. Mandya, which was once a sleepy, undeveloped village, is today a prosperous town, the headquarters of a prosperous district of the same name. Krishnaraj Sagar has thus brought immense prosperity in its wake. It has almost changed the face of Mysore. The Vrindavan gardens below the dam have added enchantment to utility. An enlightened and appreciative Maharaja elevated Vishveshwaraya to the position of the Diwan of the state in 1912. Whether as engineer or Diwan, Vishveshwaraya's one aim was to develop the state to enable the people to work well, earn well, and live well. The University of Mysore, the first university in any Indian state, came into being in 1916, thanks to Vishveshwaraya's persistent endeavors. He also founded the Kannada Literary Academy. Vishveshwaraya always felt that industries were the mainstay of the progress and the prosperity of a nation. The sandal oil factory was but one of the many industries introduced by him. Schemes for a host of other industries like soap, metalworks, chrome tanning, and sericulture were developed through the Economic Conference, a planning commission for the state which Vishveshwaraya formulated. His diwanship in the state was marked by a single-minded devotion to the cause of the progress of Mysore state. Vishveshwaraya was connected with the Tata Iron and Steel Company for a number of years. It was perhaps this association that turned his thoughts to the exploitation of iron ore available in the state. With his characteristic drive and energy, he soon set up the Bhadravati Iron and Steel Works. After Vishveshwaraya retired from the office of Diwan, the Iron and Steel Works was in a bad state. The world price of iron had fallen. Experts advised the closing down of the enterprise. It was against this background that Vishveshwaraya was persuaded in 1923 to take over as chairman of the board of directors. He set about the task of rehabilitating the works with his usual zeal. Soon, Bhadravati iron was selling in the USA at competitive rates. To this day, Bhadravati occupies an important place in the industrial map of the country. The remuneration he earned as chairman of the Iron and Steel Works for over 6 years, Vishveshwaraya turned over to the state government. He was also responsible for the water supply schemes of Goa, Hyderabad, Sindh, and Aden. Vishveshwaraya worked incessantly, preparing plans and schemes for the development of the country. He published several books and pamphlets. Waking or sleeping, he had only one thought in his mind: nation building. Vishveshwaraya traveled abroad several times. Wherever he went, his one consuming desire was to bring back technical know-how for the development of his own motherland. He gave his invaluable technical advice for the location of one of the colossal projects of recent times, the Ganga Bridge at Mokame, Bihar. He was past 90 when he undertook this work. His deep interest in the industrialization of the country led Vishveshwaraya to found the All India Manufacturers Organization in 1941. Its motto, prosperity through industry. He wanted manufacturers in the country to develop initiative and build new industries with the help of modern methods of organization. As the founder president of the organization, Vishvesvaraya still keeps in close touch with its activities and gives the organization the benefit of his rich experience and wise counsel. A full nation has heaped honors on a man who has served the country in so many spheres. Knighthood, degrees, honoris causa galore. When the centenary of his alma mater, the Central College in Bangalore, was celebrated, he was honored as the oldest and the greatest living alumnus. Highest honor that an Indian citizen could receive, the award of Bharat Ratna, came to him. In the citation, he was hailed as the father of the idea of planned development in India. But all these honors sit lightly on Vishvesvaraya's shoulders. Unaffected by all these, he lives today in his Bangalore home without a trace of ostentation. His devoted old secretary still assists him in all his work. Always meticulously punctual in his habits, Vishvesvaraya keeps himself busy and active, receiving visitors, holding discussions with them, attending social functions. For he thinks with Ulysses, how dull it is to pause to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. The one motto of Vishvesvaraya throughout his life has been, work is worship. As this Karma Yogi enters his 100th year, we cannot do better than invoke the benedictions of our sages of yore. May we for 100 autumns see that lustrous eye God ordained arise before us. May we live 100 autumns. May we hear for 100 autumns. May we speak well for 100 autumns. May we hold our head high for 100 autumns. Yea, even beyond 100 autumns.
So it was really nice and very old video in black and white. I hope you all have enjoyed today and to witness the work, the activities of Bharat Ratna Sir Dr. Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya. Now, with this small tribute to Visvesvaraya Sahab, we'll begin our session. Now, what a wonderful engineer. Whether we have such engineer with us, who is down to earth, who used to work at the site. You talk about water system, you talk about civil engineering, You talk about mechanical engineering, manufacturing the steel, iron from the basic raw materials. You talk about planning. You talk about city development, city planning in planning of a modern India. He is a true national, visited lot of foreign places only to bring technologies, knowledge to our mother India. He has been associated with Odisha also. He has been associated with the largest dam, Hirakud Dam, and he has also instrumental in governing body of Tata Iron, Indian Institute of Science, what not. So truly a Bharat Ratna, and that's why today we all are celebrating such a person birthday as Engineers Days. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for having a patient listening and seeing this wonderful video.
And
Now
may I add?
we'll come
May,
to
may I
our
add?
sessions.
May I add?
Sir, please. Sir, please. Yes, sir,
Vibhuji,
please add. Please add.
may I add one thing which inspires me? That his last assignment,
Sir, please add.
he did at the age of 90. His last assignment,
right.
which he did know, at that time he was 90-year-old. We are getting tired at the age of
Yes,
60
sir.
plus. And he did all that when there were no facilities also.
Yes,
Without
yes.
having much
So basically,
facilities, how much work he could do. And always well dressed, well mannered, everything. Truly inspiring, yeah.
so yes, the video is truly inspiring. 90 at 97, he was working. It is a great thing. So all of us who are thinking of retiring should think that it is the first innings or second innings has just started. And I hope we all will be inspired from this video. Now, coming to Mission Sustainable India and engineer's role, let me share one PPT. I'll go through quickly. Let me run that PPT for you. I hope it is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So in Mission Sustainable India, the leading organizations, IMP, and putting a lot of energy, effort through with the help of lot of professionals all around the country. We have lot of donors, we have lot of sympathizers, and we could publish the vision document in 3 volumes. And if you go through the vision document of MSI, Mission Sustainable India, we have provided a key recommendations. We believe that every citizen has a duty. They have to discharge the duty, constitutional duties under Article 51A. हम ये मानते हैं, what we think that UN Sustainability Goal 2030 perhaps will not be achievable because nobody talk about structural changes in judiciary, bureaucracies, media, and governance. Basically, we need structural changes so that the goal, the Mission Sustainable India goal could be achieved, the UN Sustainable SDG goal 2030 could be achieved. And we also foresee that these structural changes will not be possible in judiciary, bureaucracy, governance, media, if there is the 5th pillar, that is the citizen is not empowered. If there is no public demand for these structural changes, this will not be achievable. So if you go through the Article 51A, all the Indian citizens have to perform a moral duty. They have to protect the environment. They have to protect the forest, wildlife. It is a constitutional duty. It is not a duty of activists. So, as a citizen, we have to discharge our duty and make a public demand for MSI, what we believe, or a public demand for sustainable India. Then only the structural changes in bureaucracy, governance, media, all things will happen. And what we see in the, if you go through all the 3 books which is available in public domain, you can purchase it hard copy. Soft copies are also available to all the MSI who submits the commitment declaration that they will work for MSI. And we have approached, our approach is a flexible approach. Anybody can own Mission Sustainable India. It is for the people of India. And we see that we have to align all the 5 P. That it means 5 P of sustainability: planet, people, prosperity, peace, and partnership. So it is not only about environmental sustainability, it is about social sustainability, that is people, economic sustainability, that is about prosperity, and peace and partnership. We need to bring a lot of partners so that it is there in the vision document. And we have also recommended that structural changes are required. And we also talk about, when you talk about judiciary, we feel that a code of conscience should prevail in judiciary. Mass media should be sensitized so that in terms of reporting of sustainable development, the media has to work in a sustainable way, report true facts so that this 5 P can be achieved. And the education, most importantly, the sustainable education in terms of 5 P, and we should promote non-formal education system as well, so that we can easily achieve the MSI goal. And the technical domains then come the technical domain, that is sustainable water, sustainable energy, sustainable habitats. These are all technical matters. Unless you don't really align the 5 Ps in line with the structural changes, and you don't make a public demand by the citizen, then this technical recommendation, which normally talk as an engineer, perhaps will not be possible. So engineers, today's role, we believe that it is not about only the technical. They have to really work in all the food or in all the shoe, and they have to look, and they have a major role to play, because it is the engineers who believe in economical way of designing, economical way of implementation, and normally all the engineering is related to commercial viability. That means it is self-sustainable. So I am not going into details. These are the books. That is the volume 1 to 4, which we discuss about citizenship, governance, bureaucracy, judiciary, and there are a lot of recommendations. We'll be sharing with all these PPTs with all the registered participants, and we also request they can pay nominal fees of 200 rupees so that we can issue the participant certificates as well along with the PPT. But we request that they should feel that the Mission Sustainable India is their duty, and they are the core member, and they also start taking up these issues. Now we also talk about formation of 4 deputy PM, that is planet, people, prosperity, peace, partnership. And we also talk about that give equal budget to all the 5 Ps in equal manner, so that it will promote sustainable governance model and MSI can be achieved. Then we talk about participatory democracy and judicial for social harmony, sustainable justice. Then it talks about the volume 2, which is basically mass media communication, education, habitat, health, well-being, sustainable food systems. And we have provided a few recommendations in that.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Hello.
please enlarge the screen, sir, please.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Please continue.
Okay.
I hope we are maintaining the time also.
Okay. Now, sustainable habitats, basically, we have recommended that degrowth the existing overcrowded cities and towns, and promotion of a regular type of self-sustaining communities living. Then health, all these things, recommendation, the philosophies are provided in the vision document. I hope either you will purchase it, otherwise we will share the soft copies to all of you. And similarly for sustainable energy, energy conservation, then energy efficiency, and then the renewable energy. I hope the screens are moving.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Please continue.
Sustainable waters, we discuss in the vision document that there is the water, energy, food nexus approach has to be there, and we have focused on that, and we have adopted the water pyramid approach for conservation and efficient use of water. These are all technical subjects, but today's focus is on then sustainable transportations, on electric vehicle and public transport, so that all the mode of transport will help enhance the people health, prosperity, and it will be helpful for the planet. Sustainable manufacturing, which Dr. Visesaraya Saab also talked about sustainable manufacturing. He talked about partnership. He actually demonstrated all those in his lifetime, and it is also linked to his thought process. So manufacturing, we think that sustainable manufacturing, it should be need-based, and lot of inclusion of human and animal energy under renewable energy, and maximum use of local material to reduce the carbon footprint. Sustainable tourism also we have discussed. So you can always, you can note down this number, you can WhatsApp. So if you want to be a part of Mission Sustainable India, if you want to order some books, any query that can be highlighted and that can be discussed, you can take a screenshot of this number. And also there is a Sustainable Citizen group. You can be a party or you can be participant in the group. Normally we conduct similar workshops in all the normally once in a week, and you can participate in that workshop as well. So this is all about Mission Sustainable India, and that the snapshot. We believe that all the people have to be involved in the process, and particularly the engineers. Now with this, we now start the panel discussions. We have with us Sri Anil Chaudhary, President, Indian Association of Energy Management Professionals, and he basically a certified energy auditor and CGM operation, ESL, Ministry of Power, Government of India. And also we have Sri Sunil Shuth, he is a certified energy auditor. He is an ex-past president of IMP and chief mentor of IMP, and also national convener of Mission Sustainable India. Then we have Sri Pradeep Sharma ji. He is one of the core committee member of Mission Sustainable India, a certified energy auditor and a thermal expert. And we have our veteran Sri Rastogi Saab, who is a very genius and a consultant, technocrats, entrepreneurs, do a lot of work for the steel at this age and continue to advise us. So I hope they will answer few of your questions. Also, being a moderator, I have the privilege to ask few insightful questions to them, all of them, so that we can really talk about how the engineers can be part of that MSI, Mission Sustainable India. Now, shall we begin? And after that, we'll make it very short. My question will be very short, and I also expect the participant and panelists to answer in brief. And definitely we'll take up in the end all the Q&A questions from the public. They can start typing in their question in the chat box. We'll take up all the questions. Particularly, they can write down their name, contact details, and to whom the question is asked. And I hope we'll be taking up the questions. Now, my first questions particularly will be to Anil Sir. So, being the president, let us open the first question to him. Sir, if you are working with PSUs, you have worked with MECON, you are a consultant, Currently, you are heading the project division in ESLs. So when all the projects are commercially viable, we normally submit a project report, techno-economic feasibility report, pre-feasibility report, detailed project report, the bank sanctions and loan. Then why these projects are not sustainable? Whether we should link into the sustainability only in terms of commercial terms, and a lot of projects being closed. What an engineer role and why the project, if it commercially viable, then what are the things has to be required for making it sustainable?
Yeah, very insightful question, literally actually. And first of all, happy Engineers Day to one and all. This is a very momentous occasion and occasion of pride for all the engineers and all those who take pride in engineers. For all those, it's not only for engineers, and for all those who take pride in engineers. It's a very momentous occasion for everyone, and happy Engineers Day to one and all. Actually, to answer your question, I will just start with one thing, that financially viable project means what? ROI with certain decent IRR there should be there. So return of investment is in certain years, 1 or 2 years, whatever years, and the lifespan of the project is, let's say, 10 years. So it becomes a very lucrative model. Within 2 years, ROI will be there, and next 10 years of the lifespan of the project. So that becomes a very lucrative project financially. That is one thing. So the initial form of financing is that only. But now what we are noticing, and we have to notice, that the financing should be sustainable financing. What is that sustainable? It should be sustainable financing. Means you have to see whether the project is sustainable or not. Let's say, for example, I will take the example of a power plant project, thermal-based, coal-based power plant project. You can install a coal-based power plant. Its life is around 25 years. It will go for 25 years without any problem, and it will still extend. But investment will all come, maybe the energy, let's say some feasibility study and all those as made, and by the generation of power and the selling of the power, the revenue generated is recouped within the 3 years. So what does it mean? 3 years, 5 years, let's say. So what does it mean? Whether the project is very much sustainable, very much financially viable. But in today's scenario, if you see, it is concerned to environment, and it may not sustain. There may be circumstances then that this coal-based power plants are not at all environmentally advisable. So these kinds, and these are producing various carbon footprint also. So these kinds of studies are now imperative for the projects to be sustainable. Actually, the ESG concept has come. I am finding some business consultant also, Anshu, and I am finding is there. So they can highlight this how this ESG concept is changing this way of sustainable financing. Means the project has to be environment sustainable, socially. This should be socially answerable, and the governance should be transparent. So means socially answerable, I mean it should be a equal opportunity project, and all cross sections of society should be taken care of. As Gandhiji already said, you have to see what actually last mile person is getting from your actions. If that is there, then your project is always, then your action is always sustainable. You have to take this step in all your actions, and the same is true for the projects also. So project is a function of time, resources, money. So that has to remain sustainable. So that I actually want to say that for a sustainable project, it is different from financially viable project. Sustainability involves environment, social commitment, and governance, all the things, and that will lead to sustainable financing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very nicely said. Yes, correct. When you talk about project, we don't intentionally mean only the project itself. It has to be in partnership model with the local communities, with the societies, with the environment, with the local people. Then only the project will be sustainable as a whole. So we have to look into both micro and macro aspect of the project. Now, well said, sir. Thank you. Now, Susa, I'll just share one example. Now, we talk about lot of education, formal education, informal educations. Now, if you see today's headline in Times of India, I don't know if I have just a minute, sir. Now, your take on formal education, informal educations, and the context of IIT JEE. I'll just share one photo. Just look into it. These are the engineering, the top most engineering colleges where the people are going, and how this engineer, whether there's a requirement that engineers have to be sustainable citizen, and whether this type of formal education are really required. I'll just share one photo, sir. I'll just share one photo. I hope this photo is available. Sir, can you see it, this photo? Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it visible? Okay.
Yes,
One
sir, yes,
girl studied at 3 prestigious institutions to secure All India Rank 1 in NEED, one of the professional examinations. She has studied in
Medical.
Dhaka, she has studied in Narayan, she has studied in Align. Now, when you talk about, now I'm Susa,
Mhm.
when you are good amount of non-formal educations. Now, your views on this and whether this professional is going to be a sustainable citizen, and or suppose she comes on. So what were your views?
Mm. Well, you see,
I hope
since 19, yeah, I would like to go back to where when I felt the need to work on the education field. Since 91, I have been doing a lot of activism. So much thing we did, so much awareness, so much awakening the conscious, everything we tried, nothing much was happening. Then in 2018, I started wondering where is the real problem? What is the root cause? Then I posted a message in Facebook that what is the root cause of all the problems in the world? Then many people gave many reasons, some greed, something, this and that. But finally, conclusion came that there is something wrong, or maybe everything wrong with the education system. Then we started doing more research. And I came to know about the concepts of homeschooling, self-learning, unschooling, self-directed learning, all those things. And then it clicked my mind that if we can mainstream these type of actually original forms of education with sustainability, then probably we will be able to address two problems in one go. Two problems is, one is education, another is sustainability. So that is when we started this working on homeschooling for sustainability, and where we thought of integrating a 5 P's curriculum framework. and pedagogy of whole universe as our classroom, and these type of new things we developed, and also set up a demonstration experiments center at Bhopal. So then coming to your question, you see, in this process, I came to know many things that what all is wrong in education in our present, because we have put all our eggs in one basket. It is formal education. Formal education means where everything is fixed. What is to be taught is fixed. How it is to be taught is fixed, and methodologies are fixed, and evaluation is also fixed. Sometimes even the results are fixed to get 100 marks. Which child should get 100 marks, which child should get 90 marks. So everything is fixed. We adopted this model from Britishers, and we carried on. We did not do much changes. So then based on my research in last 3-4 years, I have come to the conclusion that there is a need for balancing these three types of education. One is formal education, which happens in the schools, and another is non-formal. Non-formal means which is as per child specific and family specific,
People
and
should mute
also
their mics.
aligned with the life, our life skills and other things, and also sustainability. That is non-formal, where child actually need not go to school, because there is a provision for children to do self-study and appear for exam through NIUS. So they get combination of formal as well as non-formal, and informal education which happens in the family, in the neighborhood, in the relations and friends, everything. So that informal education is not well organized, but that also needs to be organized. So if this happens all that, then there is no need for children to be into this mad race of competition. Why this girl gone to three different institutions and try to get that first rank? Because we are unnecessarily creating competitive atmosphere, which is not required at all. Rather than competing with themselves, rather than being cooperative, they are trying to create unnecessary fear and other unnecessary competitions, which are helping none actually. So then, if we want to do all these changes, we necessarily have to give equal importance to formal, non-formal, and informal. It means there should be 2 days. Children should go 1 day to school. 1 day they should be engaged in their own for non-formal learning, and 1 day organized informal. So this way, if it is done, if it is aligned, the education is aligned like this, and also with 5 P's of sustainability, so that children learn for the planet, for the people, for the prosperity, for the peace, and for partnership. And even UNESCO, if you see the UNESCO, what UNESCO say about the aims of education, UNESCO says that the aims of education is learning to know. First time is learning to know, how to acquire knowledge, then learning to do, then learning to live together, learning to be. So similarly, actually, almost similar to this is 5P, where learning happens in terms of 5Ps. So if this happens that way, then every child being specific, every child being special, every child gets the opportunity to be what he should be, he or she should be. And then instead of like a factory schooling or a, what we call fixed rote learning type, then they get the chance to be creative, they get chance to follow passion, they and everything they do as per this one. So I feel this is the thing.
That's correct, IT. But your views point that the formal, informal, non-formal has to be there. But in today's context, now we know particularly the greed of the educational institution and the coaching centers, where the people does not having a basic knowledge of science are becoming a top rank holder, and everybody wants to have the attention of the public. That's why the people, the girl might be placed in all the coaching center, because with these advertisement perhaps are critical, and we being public, we being parents need to understand the realities. And you correctly told, formal, informal, non-formal education system has to go. Everybody does not need to be an engineer, doctors. Then there is a scope for improvement. Now, so Gashpati sir, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है, with this all India rank and somebody joining in IITs, we have NITs as well. Now we have a lot of private engineering colleges. You know the skill set of any engineering college passing from the any student passing from the local engineering colleges. Now the quality of skills, the quality of knowledge, how do you feel that these engineers are going to save the modern India? And what exactly, where we are missing? How to improve the quality of engineer or the skill set? Where is the gap? Rastogi sir, if you would like to answer this.
Okay, let me take off from where Mr. Sunil Sood left, because that was something very relevant and also very, jolting to all our countrymen. Today being a great day, and what was something remarkable about this great gentleman, Mr. Vishweswaraya, although being a civil engineer, he was involved with so many other engineering activities because he was a thinking person. He was a thinking man. He was a thinking engineer. And today, unfortunately, what is happening is we are not thinking. We are just running after degrees, that so-called degree of engineering. Anyway, because you made that point of that girl student who went to coaching institutes, for all I know, she may not have gone to all the 3 institutes. They would have simply paid her for putting up an ad and making her as one of the brand ambassadors. That's what these institutes do. So let's not go by that. But then coming to the moot point, let me tell you one thing: the engineering education today in our country is certainly in dire straits, because what has happened is, if I go back, I mean, say in the late 80s when it started, there were so many engineering. I mean, after the 80s, when this mushroom growth in the IT sector started, essentially what the IT industry was looking forward to was people with a good head over the shoulders. Not necessarily engineers, but because the engineering institutes had so many bright people coming in above average, so they started picking up from the engineering institutes. So everybody thought that the route to the IT industry would be by an engineering institute. And so the engineering institutes started mushrooming. This is how it has started. And today, if you look at it, I do not know about in other parts of the country, but in Chhattisgarh, because I live here in Bhilai, year after year, the number of seats are declining. People are not just entering engineering institutes. This is a very stark reality. Sir, we must all understand that what is engineering about? Engineering, that basic word is derived, that origin comes from the Latin word, which is ingenium, that is ingenious. That means you are innovative, you are inventive. So unless we have that kind of a drive in us, that kind of a discipline, and this education is just, it gives us a very basic background of, makes us familiar with the engineering, with the proven scientific principles and postulations on which we have to evolve and design a product or a structure. But other than that, there is nothing to it. But today, unfortunately, what is happening is more than 95% of the students that I find, and mind you, when I'm saying I've seen, there's a very shoddy output even from IITs these days, because what is happening is the coaching institutes are not imparting knowledge. What they're imparting you is only a methodology of scoring marks. They are not
Correct,
giving you
correct.
education. They are not giving you knowledge. Please understand that knowledge comes in the basic engineering institute over a period of time. And so there's going to be a difference. And what is happening is, hard work, certainly, luck, another thing. With hard work, luck, and that ability to learn by rote without understanding, you are somehow or the other, you are able to make an inroad into one of the good engineering institutes like IIT or NIT. You mark a path for yourself. So that is what is happening.
True, sir.
And that is one of the reasons, why there is a, continuous deterioration in our engineering standards. When I say that deterioration, today you look at our the utilities. When I'm saying utilities, you look at the public services like you look at PWD, they have engineers. Why should a bridge or a road be failing within months of being constructed? Why should it happen? Why should buildings be collapsing even while they're being constructed? It's just because we are not planning, and our planning is so shoddy. Today, I construct a road. In 2 months, I start digging it again because I want to. Another 2 months later, because I want to place some cables, I start digging it again.
सर आपका वॉइस थोड़ा ब्रेक हो रहा है मेरे ख्याल से.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to tell you is, as engineers, we are not really performing as engineers. We are not performing in the true sense of that the engineering function that we should be doing. So the net result is, there is a gradual deterioration in our amenities, in our civic life, and everything. And this needs to change, and this will only change once when we start to, thinking on these lines. We should have less of engineers and more of frontline work, people to work. Today, one of the biggest
yes, agreed.
Just to conclude, for growth is because we do not have frontline skills available. We don't need engineers. What we need is technicians. Today, our country does not have technicians. People don't want to work in the hard industry. There are people who are associated with the steel industry. Today, there are no engineers coming in to work in steel plants. Who would like to work in a blast furnace or a coke oven? Tell me.
Correct. Now, I'd like to go to Anil ji. Anil ji, you are working in a PSU. You know the government. You know the lot of PSU, whether it is NHI, whether it is ESL, whether it is NTPC. Now, let me understand, Anil ji, your viewpoint. It's straight from heart. Earlier, Nizam is calling Visvesvaraya Sahab. State Mysore is calling Visvesvaraya Sahab to work at the field. Now, whether the PSU of Government of India are the engineers working there, are they managers or are they engineers? What I believe that they don't have the skill set, or they might be having a practical, they might have a skill set, but they don't work at the ground. Everything is being outsourced to contractors. Even NHI doesn't have the right equipment because the engineers are not working at the front line, as Rastogis have just not told. So what is your views? Earlier, government engineers used to provide the skill set to the contractors or the consultant. Now it is reverse is happening. The contractors is having more machineries, more skill set. The government or the PSU doesn't have. So what is your viewpoint, Anil sir?
It's a answer is actually it's not the answer actually. What you are asking the viewpoint actually. So what was happening few years back or whatever used to happen, and now what is happening? So you are telling that engineers are converting into managers, and actually engineers are converting into managers. Engineers are one in all umbrella thing. If I take it like that, right? I will just put it like that. What you mean to say? If you have just played this video also, and we were talking also that engineers have to play various kinds of role in sustainability. Sustainability is not only one thing. Sustainability is not only our technology. Sustainability is also to reach the people also. All kinds of 5 P's also to be there. So somebody has to do it. There may be various kinds of people to do other sets of people to do separate sets of tasks, or some people can multi-skill. And if you have just in the documentary which has been started in the about Dr. Vishwesvaraya, which started when I was seeing that, it says all the answers. He wore so many hats. He was all kinds of engineer. He was planner also. He was project designer also. He was being electrical. He was civil engineer also. So that is what has been glorified. So why we are refraining from being that? So if so and one.
But whether living apart, having those skills, not having a skill set of at a practical ground level.
No, I will come to that. I will come to that.
All things are happening because the engineering, because when you becomes a manager, a complete manager without a technical handset at ground.
Let's say I will just come to that. For any engineering project, let's say if you are talking about engineering projects, I will come to the non-engineering projects also. But if you come to the engineering projects, what you need? Engineering acumen. So who should be the person? It should be the engineer only. Engineering acumen, and so that and there should be some technology, some innovation involved in that. So that person is no doubt should be engineer, and there if some research and some new development is there, so that engineer should be very much engrossed with that. So that engineer must be having the scientific acumen also. So that kind of engineer is required. That is one kind of engineer. There another under what if you want to have that implementation and the commercial viability. So that who will be doing that? That design and planning as the basic requirement must be the engineering requirement. So in some way or other, so engineering background helps. Engineering and the society has evolved in such a manner, and it's not society, it's the development has been always related to the engineering skills, and so engineer automatically to take those seats, whether we like it or not. It becomes very sarcastic to say engineers are taking the managerial roles. Yes, they are taking, and let's say replace those. You see, by rule of exception, you start seeing that if you replace those engineers, who else can replace those? So you will find that nobody else can replace those kinds of, let's say, project head of any thermal power plant. So it requires civil, electrical, mechanical, chemical, all kinds of skills. But the head will be only an engineer of one skill or one discipline only. And can there be any other engineer? So that will be involved in.
Okay. Sir, got it. But not necessarily. If you see the present context, we have seen the top transmission company is being headed by bureaucrats.
Yes,
I will come to that also. Yes. So yes, manager role definitely engineers should play, but government somewhere has to think that yes, engineers have to have the skill set. Government should bring some kind of machinery, some kind of skill set, some kind of practical experience, so that it will start moving down.
I will like to say one more thing. That this is a very open kind of subject. You cannot conclude it like this, because engineers have to play various kinds of roles, and there is space for all kinds of engineers. Those who want to technically excel themselves, space is there for them also, and they are excelling in those fields. Those who are excelling in nanotechnology, they are excelling in that. Those who are excelling in the heavy engineering at heights. I'm giving you a very specific example. Working at the heights in heavy engineering, that's a very specialized technology. Some engineers are built for that only. So those engineers are also there. So, and bureaucrats, engineers can become bureaucrats also. So what you will say about this?
Okay, sir. Thank you for your views. And though I'm thankful that you won PSU, but you could answer your questions. That is one of the top questions. Now I'll come to
one minute. If you just allow me a brief interjection. What is wrong? If an engineer also becomes a manager, I mean, if he's able to acquire in the course of it, I mean, along with his engineering experience, if he's able to acquire management skills through reskilling, through upgradation, nothing wrong with it. And
Nothing
In
happened.
fact, that should be the way ahead. So industry should be managed by engineers come managers. It should be done that way, not purely bureaucrats. Certainly not.
But sir,
Because they will have
if you see into PSUs, now the engineers are really looking into the managerial role. It's fine, nothing. But engineers should also, the PSUs has to, the employees, the engineers have to work, have the technical skill set to work at the ground level also, which is missing for us.
that's a different.
Let us not drive. Let us not drive the pre-concluded notions. This is not right like that. I told you, the space is very open. There's a difference between science and engineering. What is engineering? Engineering is always giving some output ultimately for the for any project, for any plan, for any society. Otherwise, it will remain a pure science. Under root -1. What is this under root -1? Which has, when it has been discovered in the mathematical form, it was a pure science, no application. When it came into the application of electrical engineering as a in the phasor diagram, then it got the importance. Under root -1 also had got a well, which the inventor might not have always ever thought of. So these kind of things are always there. We go academically, we can discuss academically also, no?
Now, very well said, very well discussions. Now, Pradeep Sharma sir, you are a certified auditor, you are a thermal expert also. Now, my question to you, now, with so much of engineering, institution, knowledge, colleges, now, what do you think the present context of MSI, whether what are really required that engineer has to play a role of sustainable citizen now? Because if you see the duty and under Article 51A, every citizen has to be a sustainable citizen. Now, how do you see that engineer taking a role of sustainable citizen?
Yeah, this is a very nice question. Actually, first of all, we need to understand what is the sustainable citizen. Actually, the sustainable citizen is one who balances his life in not only for meeting his financial needs, but also he take cares of 5P. That is the planet, people, partnership, peace, and prosperity. So the citizen who we need to take care of the environment, society, and foster the peace and partnership. Now, coming to the present engineering scenario, if we see that the present engineers play a key role in our economic growth, technological advancement, and climate change, climate mitigation concerns, and the main thing which we are lacking behind is the way we are working, we are thinking, and we are behaving. So these three things are very important, and we need to align with the 5Ps of sustainability. And once we align all those activities with the 5Ps of sustainability, I think the better world, better community can be served. So I see that yes, we as an engineer we need to promote the sustainable citizenship, and we need to do it a lot, as we have covered in MSI also.
No, nicely. Your viewpoint is quite appreciated that yes, engineers and have to have a mindset for aligning the engineering in terms of 5P and become a sustainable citizen. Now, with all this conclusion, all the way forward coming from all the panelists, we discussed about engineering education. We discussed about the present status of the engineers. They can play a role of managers, engineers, and we should have non-formal, informal, and formal educations and equal opportunity for all. And engineers should align themselves in terms of 5P. That means what is discussed in Mission Sustainable India. Then I think the project will be commercially viable, economically viable, and also it will be sustainable. As Anilji has told that it will have to look into the macro aspects. So thank you all the panelists. Now I would like to see, already we have crossed the timeline. Now, if any audience participant would like to any direct question to any panelist, kindly unmute himself or herself and can ask.
I will like two people. Actually, I am finding Anshuji here, who will be telling, who can tell you about that. She's a business advisor, so she can tell you about the what is the ESG financial systems and everything, and she can talk in detail. I know that. So here the time is a constant, and she is the embodiment of informal education also. So this may be not be a time to deliberate on all those things, but I am finding it very interesting that all the topics can relate to her. So I will ask her, and I am finding Sakshi also here, the young engineer, and gone to the gone for a mechanical engineer and gone for the core industry, not for the IT industries. I would like to hear from those. So Anshuji first.
Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say. Yes, I mean, I can relate to every topic that was being discussed, and so nice to hear such an open discussion about engineering, on Engineers Day. I think this shows the open-mindedness that we have on this panel. I think I just want to comment one small thing, that sustainability, I think, is being sort of misrepresented also with the top companies. Sustainability should be understood as long lasting, as like it should be simply put. It's, it's getting lost in greenwashing. And long lasting is anything which is helping the environment. It's taking care of the people who are working within the business, or the customers that the companies are interacting with, which is the S element of ESG, and governance, which is the people who are governing the company. And not just that, there are various components related to like sub-segments of these major components also. Like when we talk about taking care of environment, then we cannot forget the animals and the sea creatures who are playing such an important part in the whole ecosystem. It's the same with social component. If we're talking about taking care of the employees, we have to make sure the education, medical expenses, everything is taken care of based on what the company's requirement is. And it's the same with the governance. Every corporate has a very different way of running, and it has to, so all of these aspects have to be very very meticulously thought of, and they can't be any copy paste situation just to just to be compliant with any national or international standards. So I think the bottom line should be that what is going to be long lasting for the business and for everything around that is helping the business to be long lasting.
So nice. So nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So nice of you. Thank you, ma'am. Now, with one more question coming out, and if you'd like to answer anybody, Ansuji or Anilji. Now, when you talk about sustainability, if you see ESG audit or any top company, all major consulting work, all the government,
Okay.
any issue is going to the top big four companies, big consultant, big MNC, donor agency, who normally does not work at the ground level. Normally they outsource those work to the ground level. Now, whether it will achieve a sustainable way of doing the things, or government or PSU have to involve the local consultant or local service provider for those things. I have seen some approach paper on MSME in which the top big four companies are working, big four consultants are working for development of MSME. Whether really it will be such project will be sustainable. Anybody, Anilji or Ansuji, if you work on that. I hope my question is clear.
It's clear. Anshuji, I will just start, then you can compliment.
Sure. I think it's quite ironical that big fours are invited to work for MSMEs.
Yeah.
It just explains itself why India has such an issue in the gig economy. So for example, now I'll MSME can have a very organized way of working also, and there is a larger perspective which is called gig economy. Globally, countries are giving visas on gig economy. The people are being recognized by the governments, hired by the governments. But that is one very unfortunate part about the Indian way of working, that the freelancers can almost never dream of getting a government tender. Even if there is something available to work as a consultant in any area within the government bodies, it's only pro bono consulting. So this is something which is very paradoxical, I feel. The people who have actually lived the life of MSMEs on the ground level are not given the chance to be able to serve. Number one, which is going to help the economy big time. And secondly, it's going to actually drive the policies which will make sense to the MSMEs.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
As an MSME, I can reinforce what Madam Manshu said. And about consultant, it's something like this: if you can do it, you do it, and if you cannot do it, you become a consultant.
Yes, that is
okay. That's what consultants are. Let me tell you, as an MSME, I can tell you what is happening. These giant, whether you talk of Ernst Young, you talk of PricewaterhouseCoopers, all these companies, they sit in, ivory towers, prepare project reports, have just, a cursory glance at a look around, and they prepare these kind of reports. At the ground level, I know the kind of throes, the kind of pains which the MSME in general, by and large, throughout the nation is facing, both financially as well as in terms of, the marketing. The talent is there, the skills are there, but the kind of the fillip that should come to them. Although the government is doing a lot, in terms of coming out with a lot of schemes, but then again, what happens is these schemes are not really getting down into the percolating to the lowest level. It's not happening. Banks, आप सुनते होंगे कि banks ने ये scheme बना दी, वो scheme बना दी. Schemes out of simple, out of an hat, they have been formed. Today, I'm struggling for funds because I have projects in hand and I'm not able to execute because I need funds. Now, despite the fact that I have an order in hand from a public undertaking, banks are still not prepared to fund me. These are the kind of problems which we face. So there is, I really, I take a very grim view of the way these consultants work.
Actually, both of you have complimented the question of Vibhuji. And what Anshuji has told, it was straight from her head, because she is office bearer of World Association of Small and Medium Enterprises also, I suppose, if I'm right.
Yes. Yes.
So it's all the way more relevant to her. And actually, what I will say that what government sectors actually, एक होता है ना कि वो track में, they are driven in a track. So now innovative thinking are already creeping in. People are now jumping the ladders also, and so the age the kind of age you used to see for the highest level positions, that are drastically coming down in various kinds of positions. So the paradigms are also changing. So these are those things which you have raised as a concern. Now these has to be changed in our system only. So who will be the change maker? So we have to make the change. So when we are realizing it, we have to change it also. Various kinds of consultants are getting groomed and getting involved also. So the days are not far that when we will be finding our own indigenous consultants, and the consultancy will go away.
No, that's correct. That's correct. The purpose is that normally these local consultants are basically doing the real work, and it is actually their knowledge is being exploited maybe by Big Four, and their report is required. Now, the thing, if you have seen a lot of MSME report, they are actually a report put in cupboard or almirah never implemented at all.
Yes, that I can agree, that I should agree.
And the purpose of sharing this, that yes, we might be 20 people listening to this, but we are the changer, as Anil has correctly told. This change has to happen. The Mission Social India is bringing that change. It has to be a public demand. Then it will be possible. I am very happy that Ansu Madam, you are representing the MSMEs. I hope the message has to go to the top. Then the change is inevitable and it has to change. Now,
Sakshi, you would like to say something? Young engineer?
yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Indigenous Day. So I had just graduated and joined Bajaj Auto. And regarding the MSMEs, having a basic knowledge about it and having the knowledge about consultancy and seeing the different government PSUs hiring the big fours for making and discovering what are the problems in MSMEs. So while I was interning with Deloitte, I saw that they were working upon increasing the efficiency of the machine within the MSMEs, which was used to cut the metals via flywheel. So the process was quite similar as discussed, that they hired local people to investigate into what was the current procedure for using that machine. And their job was more into understanding the overall machinery and then proposing the solution accordingly to the government officials. So I feel like it's important that we collaborate with the big fours and then educate the MSMEs and the local consultants that how the work is done. For example, I gained knowledge that how they handle and how they execute in increasing the efficiency of the MSME machines. Now I in hand can propose or can give some idea about, okay, a local consultant should act in this way. First, should visit to different local MSMEs and understand what machinery is, and then use some procedures, hire some engineers so that they can together work within a group and propose the solution. So in turn, we cannot totally neglect the big fours, but we can learn from them, and then we can build our own local consultants, which would help the government.
Yes, actually, your viewpoint is well taken. But what we believe, they have a big repository. That means they have a huge database. They have a huge connections. Now, whether it is not the right time that government, when they engage, they should handhold the big four and get those depository and handle in such a way that MSME's problem can be solved by LSP. So this is a big question. Yes, there has to be some synergy, but it need not to be that 100% one-sided. And I hope there has to be synergy, but yes, but government for us have to work on that. Now, any other questions? Already we are running short of time. Otherwise, we can close. Let me see the chat box. Now, a lot of congratulations and thank you, Saswat ji. He's from Odisha Clean Tech Alliance. Arvind ji, he's from IEPM. And a lot of engineers, a lot of people have registered. And Suresh ji has also had a question. HBSC market is governed by consultant. Most of the consultants are from Mumbai and Pune. Not ready to support the local supplier outside metro cities. How to tackle it? How to convince them?
Consultants are all over. Delhi is full of consultants. Deloitte is there. All consultants are here. And we are finding in our panel also consultant there, business
So
consultant there.
anything, we definitely we have ASRE member, we have IMP member. Definitely that will be can be available. Suresh sir, Satish
So
ji, his hand.
quickly now you can say because we have to wind up also.
Satish ji, you can take one question from Satish ji. Satish ji, please be specific. Sir, please. Okay, you can unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself.
Satish ji, you can unmute yourself. Satish ji, I hope you can hear me.
Satish ji, आप
Sir, your voice is not coming. You can.
सतीश जी आप मिस्टर इंडिया इन डिफरेंट फैशन हो गए, आप दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं पर सुनाई नहीं पड़ रहे हैं। मिस्टर इंडिया तो जो सुनाई पड़ते थे दिखाई नहीं पड़ते थे, लेकिन आप दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं पर सुनाई नहीं पड़ रहे हैं।
सर आप अपना क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं। आप आई थिंक देयर इज सम टेक्निकल ग्लिच एट योर साइड।
So Vibhu ji थोड़ा कंक्लूड ही करिए, because it has been a very nice interaction, I suppose.
Okay. Now thank you all, and it is a very nice interaction to all of you. I am sorry Satish ji, if you can write down the chat box, definitely will take up the questions. I request all of you to kindly look into the connect, like and subscribe our MSI channel. We are in LinkedIn, we are in various social media, and kindly contribute if you want to contribute for MSI and be a deemed owner of MSI as well. And we have lot of WhatsApp groups, and हमारा program आप join करते रहिए, motivate करते रहिए. I hope the MSI will soon become a public demand. With this, I conclude. Subratri, and I happy Engineers Day once again to all of you.
I will like to add one thing here. That MSI is already in demand. We have to structure it. We have already structured it. And there are two types of people in the world. Those who are already in the sustainable India mission, and other people are there, those who are going to join it. So there are only two kind of people are there in the world. So and now we have to see how much time other people take to join, because that is what, because sustainability is a requirement. We have to live, and we have to give our earth for the next generation also. So that is required.
We'll share the we'll share the PPT. We'll share the link for donation also. I hope you can contribute.
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you
you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good night.